Hello everybody, Edre here, and for anybody new here, I make casual reviews and they are just my opinion, so take everything I say with a massive grain of salt. And today I am going to be doing a brand new review of the new Arlo Parks album, Collapsed in Sunbeams. Now, for anybody that doesn't know who Arlo Parks is, in all honesty, I only discovered her recently as well. Arlo Parks is an English artist that really up until now has been riding high on some pretty successful singles, dabbling in a lot of indie sounds, which is pretty expected, but also a bit of more pop, a bit of indie pop, a bit of R&B in there as well, neo soul. Overall, a really good blend of sounds in my opinion. So let me just get straight into this review. Musically, this album Collapsed in Sunbeams. Oh my god, did I say Sunbeams? Sunbeams. Musically, this album is a blend of sort of bedroom pop in a sense, but also a bit of neo soul, like I mentioned before. And it all kind of comes together in a kind of indie sounding package. Overall, I think the execution of the genres on here came across really good, very professional. It sounds like she's a natural, to be completely honest with you. So I have no initial complaints when it comes down to the style choice of this album. I want to get into some of the tracks here that stand out to me. The track Hurt definitely plays into some of that more neo sound, neo soul sound quite a bit. And it's really the first real track on here. It's just a great, solid opener. Great little drum, lo-fi kind of groove right off the bat. That really does set the mood for the album, which gets even continued on the track Too Good, which has an even stronger and fatter groove, which is one of the best, I think, on this album. And I think her vocals are really good here. She has a really strong delivery on that track. She sounds very, passionate about what she's doing, and I just think it came across good to my ears. The track that's arguably my favorite on this album, though, is Hope. And because Hope sort of has this sort of mysterious, smooth vocal melody on it, which I really like, and I think it is one of the best instrumentals on here as well. Also, I think the main highlight here is just that great chorus. One of the best choruses and hooks on this entire project. One of my favorite in a long time, so I really do like it. Really great track. So far into this album, we already have like 3 great tracks in a row. Going ahead a little bit into the album's track list, For Violet is another one that really stood out to me as being a pretty major highlight here. It has a bit of a laid-back, droning instrumental, which is something I like a lot. It kind of changes the flow up a little bit on this album. And her beautiful vocals just spice it up, as much as it needs, and it came across great. Just Go is another track that I liked a lot. Has like this sort of 70s clean guitar, Motown-esque, guitar lead here and guitar riff. And it kind of, once again, a nice little change up. I love the different sounds getting experimented here. And the final track I want to talk about that I thought was a highlight was Porta 400, the closing track. I think that's one of the best instrumentals on here. Overall, just a great closing track. A bit of overall feelings on the overall sound of this album when it comes down to these tracks and stuff. It's just, I feel like there is a pretty big consistency. I feel like there is a good consistency throughout this album. Even the songs that I don't like as much are still average at best, and all the different sounds getting exploited here are very well executed, and I don't have too many complaints there. Overall, the sound is just very, cohesive and just very consistent. There are a few tracks that I admit I am not as crazy about that I do think are, I don't want to say duds, I don't want to say filler, but just don't leave as much as an impact on me as a listener, and they do drag the album down a slight bit. Caroline, for example, it's more so her delivery on that song. I really do like her vocals throughout this album, but there's just something a little more bland about the song track Caroline that really makes it sound like it could be an outtake from a Billie Eilish project. And I'm not the most fond of everything Billie Eilish does. But to be completely honest here, the duds are far and few. Well, there are a few songs that just don't really add much to the album and sort of are just there and weighing it down. Most of the tracks here are very well focused. I really don't have too much negative to say. Overall, my overall thoughts on the album as a whole. I think it's a solid debut. I think that it is a good blend of that pop, of that neo-soul, of that bedroom pop, R&B, you name it. It's a really good blend of styles. a really good production as well, and I do think that just overall, Arlo Parks proves that on her debut project, she has it in her to make one of the most compelling projects of this style. I think the project just portrays some great emotion, great passion behind it as well. And I just think that Arlo Parks is a very promising artist. I mean, at the end of the day, I do think that there are some minor flaws here and there. I do think that I'd love to hear her experiment and explore even further. Not every single song really put all the impact on it that I was hoping for. But once again, those moments are there. They do drag it down a little bit, but I have mainly positive to say here. I had a lot of general enjoyment here, and I have found myself coming back to this album much more than I honestly expected, because on paper, I wasn't expecting to enjoy this album as much as I did. With that being said, I have settled on giving Arlo Parks' debut album, Collapsed in Sunbeams, a sunny 8 out of 10. For anybody new here, anything above a 5 is good, anything below a 5 is negative. So an 8 out of 10 is a very, very positive review. 8 out of 10 is really, I think, when an album reaches that really great status. So yeah, I think that it's a really great debut. I think there is still a lot of room for improvement, but I don't have too much major complaints here. I think it's a relatively strong debut project, and gave me a lot of enjoyment and pleased my ears, to say the least. And with that being said, that is it for now. Arlo Parks, Collapsed in Sunbeams. Pretty solid debut album, to say the least. I look forward to seeing where she goes next, and I think she can continue to push this genre in new directions and really, liven it up. That being said, that is all for now. I'm Edre, and goodbye.